Ladies and gents, I am the one and only DJ Storms. I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. It is, of course, Monday, July 19th, 2021. Thank you very much for tuning back in. This is the official rewind for WWE Money in the Bank 2021, which of course streamed live on Peacock, which by the way sucks, last night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which was when the pre-show started. And I'm gonna be very blunt. Was it a bad show? Not necessarily. It wasn't necessarily a bad wrestling show. The wrestling on the show, for the most part, was very good. We had a very good tag team title match on the pre-show with the Mysterios and the Usos. We had a match that was much better than it was. A match that had no right to be as good as it was, with the Viking Raiders and AJ and Omos. Reigns continues to be untouchable. He put on a fantastic main event with Edge. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match was by far the best overall Money in the Bank ladder match in years. Even Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, I'll give them a little credit. That match wasn't even that bad. That match was good. Probably Charlotte Flair's only good match since her return back in December. But you take a look up and down the show, regardless of how good in terms of wrestling that it was, that still doesn't change the fact that the creative on this show is absolute shit. The creative on this show is the absolute shits, in the words of Bret Hart. And at the end of the day, one good wrestling show, no matter how good of a show it was, and again, it was a very good wrestling show. I'm not going to discredit that. I'm not going to discredit anyone that was in any of the matches on the show. They all worked hard. They all did their part. Everything flowed very, very nicely, and everything lined up to be a very good show by the end of it. But at the end of the day, one good show is not going to fix WWE's problems. We did get some great wrestling. Some of the matches had the correct outcomes. But at the end of it all comes down to how WWE is going to follow up on what they produced. And 99.9% of the time, they never successfully follow up on what they produce. So please, people, do not get overly excited. Do not jump for joy. No matter how good the show was in terms of an in-ring aspect, we are going to go back to the same bullshit that we have been seeing throughout the entire pandemic era for the last 17 months. At the end of the day, Raw is going to get no better. SmackDown is no better outside of Roman Reigns. And at the end of the day, we're going to be subjected to the same tired, formulaic garbage that Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, White Castle Pritchard, John Laurinaitis. I'm not even going to do the voice right now, because I actually want to be a little bit more serious with this review. Although you'll get the witty DJ Storms that you usually get here and there throughout the video, but I want to be a little bit more serious here in the intro. I can imagine that WWE, based on that ending, of course, is going to build SummerSlam up as a big show. Hopefully, everything will fall into place, and in the end, we will get a decent SummerSlam as well. But overall, Money in the Bank, it did have various down points, and it did have various terrible booking decisions, but overall, it was a very good wrestling show. If you did not watch this show, I encourage you to go out of your way to watch it, specifically for the Raw Women's title match. Can't even believe I'm saying that. The Raw Women's title match, the SmackDown Tag Team title match, the main event, and the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Those were 4 very good matches. in which all the competitors in those matches worked very, very, very hard. I'm not jumping for joy. I'm not going to get overly excited. I'm not going to put any faith or trust in World Wrestling Entertainment because they don't give a single shit. But this was a very good wrestling show. That's what I was hoping for. That's what we got. I'm not going to complain in terms of the in-ring work. But with WWE, you should expect nothing less than A+ in-ring work because the roster that they have is the best roster that they've ever had in the history of their company. Regardless of that, we are going to go over everything that took place last night on July 18th. June, July, whoever the fuck cares. I mean, who cares at the end of the day? Everything bleeds into one with WWE. Nothing differentiates from the next thing with the WWE. But it was July 18th, 2021. That's when Money in the Bank took place. I am the one and only DJ Storms, the greatest thing to ever happen to the IWC, and you are watching the greatest Money in the Bank review that you will ever watch. I would like to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in. I know the chat is going to be booming. People are ready to hear my thoughts. I got a lot of good things to say. I got a couple of rants. In the book, so you will definitely hear me rant. But we are going to dissect everything. I got my social media running wild right here, just keeping an eye out for any news and rumors that breaks as I'm recording this, just so I can catch it for you and give my thoughts on it as the recording is going on. Before we get into the review, of course, please follow me on the Twitter sticks, of course, at HistoryMakerDJS. You will find out why I am the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. Follow me on Instagram as well at TheDJStorms. Add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries, please. Send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description. Also, if you missed the Lightning Flash update from 2 days ago, I dissected 5 weekly shows as per usual: Raw, NXT, Dynamite, or this week was Fyter Fest, NXT UK, and SmackDown. I went over the various amounts of news, rumors, and reports, including why WWE did not take Jimmy Uso off of television because of his DUI, and of course the draft being moved back, Sonya Deville's return being imminent to the ring, and much, much more. So if you missed that, the link is also in the description. Please go check that out. First things first, I would actually like to send out a very special thank you to Mr. Cameron Johnson for allowing me on the CNE podcast with my main man, Little Stevie, and my friend Adam, and we did a little mock draft because the draft is coming up rather soon. So we did a little mock draft in which we had some fun with it. We actually booked Raw and SmackDown better than WWE's been booking Raw and SmackDown. Go figure. 4 nobodies scattered across the country. And actually, Adam's actually in fucking Egypt, if you can believe it. My friend Adam's in Egypt. 4 nobodies scattered across the globe can book a show better than these suit and ties up in Stamford: Bruce Pritchard, John Laurinaitis, Kevin Dunn, Nick Khan, and Vince McMahon. We can book it better than they can, and it should be no surprise to you. But regardless of that, I do want to send out a very special thank you to Cameron Johnson for allowing me on his podcast. I had a fantastic time. One more special thank you being sent out to Mr. Rob Wells Jr. Of course, he is in the chat right now, I do believe, and he was on the rundown for Money in the Bank, and we had a good time, even though the views did not really didn't get to where I wanted them to get, but I guess that goes to show you how little people give a shit about the WWE product. And last but not least, I do want to shout out Miss Top Rope Squishy. Hopefully we will see her in the chat if we have not already. Miss Top Rope Squishy, she has been so gracious enough to me to invite me back on the Squish channel. I will be making my return to the Squishy brand this Thursday at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube, when me and Top Rope Squishy are going to be reviewing the results for AEW Fyter Fest night number 2. Of course, we'll be talking about Britt Baker and Nyla Rose. We're going to be talking about Jon Moxley and Lance Archer for the IWGP US title in the Texas Death Match. We're going to be talking about the first labor of Jericho, him fighting Shawn Spears, with the stipulation in which Shawn Spears can use a chair, but Jericho cannot. So it should be a very, very fun show. I cannot wait to be back on her channel. Hopefully I will have her back on my channel. I'm aiming for the rundown for All Out this year, so hopefully me and Miss Squish can have a little conversation about her coming back to the DJ Storms channel. We're over 10 minutes into the video. I mean, if you have not liked the video, I'm not sure what you're doing. I'm not sure why you're even here if you have not already liked the video. If you come on in here, you gotta make sure you smash that like button. It's not that hard. You gotta just scroll down with your mouse, clickety-click the like button. That way you will help out me and the channel very, very much. All it takes is a little scroll and a little click. It is not that hard. All you need to do is hit that like button. We got goals we want to reach. Hopefully we can do better than the Lightning Flash update and the rundown did over the weekend. I want to get to at least 100 views and 30 likes. We got goals. Please make sure you hit the like button when you come in if you have not already done so. And in order for us to reach those goals, I'm going to need y'all to share out the stream on all platforms, social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, or Tumblr, whatever social media platforms that you use, please share out the stream. It is vital that we get as many people in here as possible so that way we reach the goals, because everybody wants to hear what DJ Storms has to say. Trust me on that. I'm talking about your mothers and your fathers and your brothers and your sisters and your aunts and your uncles and your grandmothers and your grandfathers and your 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th cousins twice removed. Your dogs, your cats, and especially your guinea pigs. I'm telling you, I'm looking at my laptop right now and it's running slow. The antivirus program on my laptop is very, very glitchy and very, very faulty because I got so many articles launched in my laptop talking about guinea pigs said that they are going to live long, happy, healthy, fruitful lives if they are given a daily dose of DJ Storms. Especially when I talk about money in the bank. So if you got a guinea pig, please tell him or her that DJ Storms is on YouTube and DJ Storms is reviewing Money in the Bank here on YouTube because they are going to live long, happy, healthy, fruitful lives as soon as they get a little dose of me. Also, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Hit the subscribe button. It greatly helps me out, greatly helps the channel out. I want to grow the brand. I want to expand the brand. I want to get as many eyes on me as possible. You might as well call me Tupac because they're all eyes on me. Of course, hit that subscribe button and hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. I know my man Leo loves that line because it's the only time that you're gonna get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination. This beautiful mustache right here. Give me one single solitary second. You know I was not going to forget this. Earl Cole's favorite prop used by DJ Storms because we are going to light it up here on the Rewind with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of Of course, everybody wants a piece of the Storms Meister. Everybody wants a piece of the Storms Meister. Anyway, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. We're going to get straight into the review here. Money in the Bank 2021. So we got the pre-show, starting off with Rey and Dominic Mysterio taking on the Usos. This was for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. And for the majority of the show, this was actually the best match of the night, at least until the men's Money in the Bank ladder match came about. For a good majority of the show, this was the top match of the night. They set the pace very, very nicely. Rey and Dominic, they actually had an awesome entrance. They had this little video package where they were in ancient Egypt, and they were wearing fancy suits, and they stepped through a portal, like they're stepping through a time portal. And then the camera showed the time portal, and then it backed away into real life, and they were standing right on the entrance ramp. I thought that was a very, very, very nice visual. I thought that promo package was very, very innovative. That was a very nice way to introduce the Mysterios. I actually hope that they keep that. If they don't keep it on a weekly basis, I actually hope that they actually bring it back for every single pay-per-view that they're on. Every single time the Mysterios are on a pay-per-view, I'd absolutely love to see the Mysterios enter through that portal from ancient Egypt. It was a very innovative interview, I will say. So, the Mysterios were in control early before Jey Uso quickly shut down that momentum. Rey Mysterio was isolated before Dominic came in with a nice springboard triangle moonsault for a 2. Dominic was then caught in midair by both Usos, and he was slung into the barricade. Dominic was then isolated by the Usos before Rey got the hot tag. Very nice, swift head scissor takedown to Jey Uso, the right-hand man. We then had a diving senton for 2. Jimmy tagged in. He super kicked Rey. Rey bounced off the ropes, and Jimmy hit a very nice pop-up Samoan drop for a 2. Dominic and Jimmy Uso went at it. Rey went for the 619. Jimmy took the bullet. Jey then caught Rey with a super kick in midair and hit the Uso splash. He covered Rey. Rey barely kicked out. I actually thought that that was it right there. The crowd thought that was it. And after Rey kicked out, I actually thought that the Mysterios were going to retain at that point. Dominic then came in to shove Jey off the top rope. Jimmy took out Dominic, and then Jimmy rolled up Rey, and Jey used his feet to push Jimmy Uso a little further, and he used Jimmy Uso as almost a leverage. Jey was Jimmy Uso's leverage towards getting a roll-up pin on Mysterio, and the ref did not see it, and the referee counted 1, 2, 3, and the Usos are 7-time SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Now, like I said, this was one of the best matches of the night. This, for the majority of the night, at least until we got to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, this was the match of the night for the majority of the show. I am not going to discredit the work of these 4 individuals. All 4 of these individuals worked very hard. This was a very good tag team match, and I say it all the time. I don't understand why WWE does not get behind tag team wrestling like this every single week. Matter of fact, both of the tag team matches that we saw were very, very good. I'm not even going to lie. I don't understand why WWE only gets behind tag team wrestling in some cases. Why don't they do this every single week? If they did this every single week, the shows would be just a little bit better. This was a very good match, but the outcome was in terrible fucking taste. This outcome was 1,000% the wrong outcome. For multiple reasons, actually. 2 specific reasons. Number one. It doesn't matter what you think about the Usos or how good they are or whether or not they're the best tag team in WWE and or the world. Jimmy Uso has a fucking problem. Jimmy Uso has a fucking problem. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not sure what's going on in his head. I'm not sure what's going on behind closed doors between him and Naomi, or him and Jey, or him and Roman, or him and The Rock. I don't know what's going on within his family. But the man needs fucking help. I stated this before, and I'm going to state it again. 4 times getting a DUI. 4 DUIs is not a mistake. 4 DUIs is not a mistake. Something is up. Something is wrong, and the man needs to be sent to rehab. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that because they want to keep their precious WrestleMania 38 main event between Roman and The Rock, nice and safe. They want to cater to The Rock as much as possible. Good to know that health and safety of not only your superstars, but the people that live amongst your superstars comes second. It is absolutely fucking disgusting how this company operates. You're pretty much rewarding him for getting a 4th DUI. You're pretty much rewarding him for making a mockery out of the company and out of his family. After Jay trusted him, Roman trusted him, Heyman trusted him, Bruce and Vince trusted him, he gets a 4th DUI, and not even, 3 weeks later? Not even like 3 weeks later, he is given the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles? I mean, that is incredibly, and I mean incredibly sad. That is incredibly sad. If it was anyone not in the Anoa'i family, he would have been terminated right on the fucking spot. You should have threatened him with fines, suspension, and or termination for him to go to rehab. In no way, shape, or form should he be the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions right now with his brother Jay. And on top of that, here's what I'm trying to figure out. If this was going to be the end game, why do it at Money in the Bank? Money in the Bank is nothing more than a bridge pay-per-view towards SummerSlam, which is your second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Don't you think that SummerSlam would have been the ideal place to pull the trigger? Don't you think that SummerSlam would have been much better in the grand scheme of things? Don't you think that SummerSlam would have been a bigger stage to crown Jimmy and Jey Uso the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions and Roman Reigns defeating John Cena? Don't you think that that would have been a major coronation for the Bloodline? But no, let's just do it at Money in the Bank. Let's just do it at Money in the Bank, out of fucking nowhere, when the Mysterios haven't even gotten started as the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And we haven't even had time to tell an actual story with the Usos and the Mysterios. Terrible fucking taste with Jimmy Uso being rewarded for a DUI, and absolutely ridiculous booking doing it at Money in the Bank rather than doing it at SummerSlam, which is the second biggest show of the year. This outcome was fucking terrible. I'm sorry. Very good match. Very good match. Very good tag team match. But in no way, shape, or form should Jimmy Uso have been rewarded for the DUI, and in no way, shape, or form should he be SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And if he was going to be given the titles with his brother Jay, you should have waited till SummerSlam. That would have been the better place for the coronation, in front of a packed stadium, rather than just a regular old bridge pay-per-view named Money in the Bank. It's quite fucking sad and very disgusting how this company operates. It's ultimately going to come down to, if he injures someone and or possibly kills someone, then what are you going to do? It'll be too late. It's not too late to fix what needs to be fixed. You need to act now and fix what needs to be fixed before it is broken beyond repair. If Jimmy Uso does this again, which you know it's going to happen again at some point. It's going to happen again at some point because Jimmy Uso was let off the hook just because they want to get The Rock against Roman. Jimmy Uso was left off the hook. When this happens again, should Jimmy Uso injure someone or kill someone, it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. What are you going to do then? Terrible fucking taste. Terrible fucking taste. And it's quite frankly disgusting. Very good match, though. So that was the pre-show. The main show started off with Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Nikki Trash, keep that in mind, Natalya, Tamina, Zelina Vega, Naomi, and Asuka. This was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Bliss actually got cheers Bliss actually got a lot of cheers during this match, and I know there's going to be a lot of people throughout the wrestling community, whether it be on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, they're going to be shoving it in people's faces saying, oh, look, Alexa Bliss is getting cheered. Oh, you thought that she was going to get booed. I want to let you guys in on something. Alexa Bliss could literally walk out there with 15 boxes full of pizzas. Pizza pies, straight out of Mr. Bruno's pizzeria. She could walk out there with 15 pizza pies. She could take the pizza pies and literally smear the pizza all over herself for 20 minutes. And she could get the mozzarella cheese all over herself, the sauce, the mushrooms, the peppers, the pepperoni, the meatballs. She could get all the fucking toppings. She could walk out there and smear pizza all over herself, and she would get cheered. She would get cheered. Why? Because wrestling fans are fucking retards. It's been a very long time since we've had actual fans in attendance. You forget how incredibly stupid they are. Fans, the majority of wrestling fans, are people who accept mediocrity and deem it good. They are complacent fucks. They don't know what's good and what's not good. There are very few people who are as intelligent as I am, and of course the people in this chat. Alexa Bliss could do whatever the hell she wants. She could go out there and perform the fucking chicken dance in a meatloaf outfit a la Lady Gaga, and she would get cheers. Why? Because there are simps in the crowd that think if they cheer for Alexa Bliss will hit up their DMs later, and you already know where that's going. Oh, by the way, Nikki ASH, Nikki Trash, she got no reaction. Where are those people now that are saying that Nikki Cross is going to get this gimmick over? She came out to crickets. She came out to crickets, and I laugh in your face. So Bliss just stood on the turnbuckle, and she just blankly stared and looked around. That was during all of the entrances, and she did that for the first few moments of the match as well. So Bliss skipped around a la AJ Lee. She was looking to pull some magic before Asuka took her out with a German suplex. Everyone started getting their big moves in. Tamina then catapulted Bliss into the ladder. Tamina fucking sucks, by the way. How do you release Mickie James and Chelsea Green, but you keep fucking Tamina Snuka? Oh yeah, that's right. She's part of the NOI family. She's a part of the Jimmy Snuka heritage, right? So, Tamina sucks. Tamina is AIDS. Asuka took out Tamina. Liv Morgan tried to grab the briefcase before Natalya saved it. There was a tug of war between Liv Morgan and Natalya. This looked terrible. It's like these two were trying to have a sissy tug of war, and then Naomi and Tamina was doing all these crazy moves over it. It did not look good. It made Liv Morgan and Natalya look like a bunch of idiots. And the ending of the match was no better, which I'll get to. So, Bliss did a creepy pose on the ropes. She was then laughing as Natalya was beating her down. We then had Bliss going for the briefcase, as did Vega. And this was fucking terrible. Bliss did her hypnosis shit with Zelina Vega. It was absolutely cringeworthy if I've ever seen it. But of course people are going to cheer this because they don't know any better. Wrestling fans have the mentality of a fucking 3-year-old. So, after that, Zelina Vega was placed on a ladder. Naomi then powerbombed Liv Morgan onto Vega onto the ladder. That was actually the best spot of the entire match. Naomi then with a double stunner to Natalya and Tamina, very sloppy. Naomi with a split onto Naomi onto the ladder. Vega nearly got the contract before Liv Morgan saved it. Nikki Cross dove from a ladder that was set up outside the ring, and she dove over the top onto the field. She then went for the contract before Bliss saved it. They had a back and forth where Alexa Bliss delivered a Sister Abigail DDT. Bliss then went up the ladder. Natalya and Tamina saved it. They took out Bliss with the ladder, and they buried Bliss under ladders, and that was the last that we saw of Alexa Bliss. Good. So the ladders were in the ring. 3 ladders were set up in the ring. Liv Morgan climbed the ladder, and then all of a sudden Naomi, Vega, and the rest of the field followed. And they were all brawling on the top of the ladder. All of a sudden, Nikki Trash climbs up the ladder, somehow, unbeknownst to everyone. Meanwhile, she is a normal human being. She's not floating up the ladder as if I'm surprised Alexa Bliss didn't float up the ladder. I'm surprised they didn't book her to do that. Nikki Cross, unbeknownst to everyone, and everyone looked like an absolute idiot while Nikki Cross just casually climbed up the ladder while everyone else was fighting and just unhooked the briefcase. And that was it. Afterwards, when she was celebrating, she got no reaction again, just like her entrance. I don't even know where to start with this. First of all, I didn't even think it was possible to have a bad Money in the Bank ladder match. Boy, oh boy, these women shut me up on that account. I have never seen a Money in the Bank ladder match that was this bad in my entire life. This may be the worst, not only the worst women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but the worst Money in the Bank ladder match, period. This match was incredibly sloppy, various botches all over the place, and this outcome was the cherry on top of the cake. The cherry on top of the cake that solidified women's wrestling as an absolute fucking joke in WWE. First off, Asuka, Tamina, Vega, and Natalya, and who else? I think I said Liv Morgan, whoever the fuck is in this, Naomi as well. All these individuals were fighting on top of the ladder. How is it that no one noticed that Nikki Cross was climbing the ladder? No one felt the ladder move. No one, I believe Liv Morgan was actually in front of Nikki Cross, and Nikki Cross was actually climbing over Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan didn't feel a thing? She didn't feel a thing! So as if Nikki Cross had the supernatural abilities of Alexa Bliss that allowed her to sneak up the ladder without anyone else knowing. Asuka was debating whether or not to fight Tamina or stop Nikki Cross. She was like, "You made Asuka look just as dumb." The women looked like absolute idiots, letting Nikki Cross just climb all over them and get the briefcase. And I don't know what happened with this match. I was expecting this match to be a lot better, but by the end of it, this turned out to be the worst fucking match of the night. I don't understand how you have a bad ladder match. Well, actually, I do understand how you have a bad ladder match. You got Alexa Bliss in there. You got Natalya in there. You got Tamina in there. You got Zelina Vega in there. You got Nikki Trash in there. Of course it's going to be bad. I didn't expect it to be that bad. WWE had 3 golden routes that they could have gone with this match. You could have given it to Naomi. And a lot of people in the community were throwing the idea around of Naomi winning the briefcase, cashing in at SummerSlam on either Sasha or Bianca, depending on who wins, turning heel and joining Roman and the Usos, and they all hold the gold. And they all hold the gold on SmackDown, and they have their own Samoan Dynasty takeover on SmackDown. That would have been a great route to go. You could have done that. Number 2, you could have given it to Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, who's been busting her ass for God knows how many years to actually get better. You could have given it to Liv Morgan, and you could have given her the Money in the Bank contract, given her the SmackDown Women's Championship, and actually built her up as a legitimate threat in the women's division, possibly having her take the title into WrestleMania next year, and giving her a big moment. Or three. Three was perhaps the most intriguing option. You could have easily had Sonya Deville swoop in and attack Liv Morgan backstage, unbeknownst to everyone. You don't have to reveal that it was Sonya, but Liv Morgan was attacked. Sonya Deville then comes in. She slides in as her replacement. Sonya wins the briefcase. Liv is taken out for a few months. Sonya cashes in on Bianca. She becomes the champion. Liv Morgan returns, and you could tell the story of Liv Morgan scratching and clawing and climbing to reach the pinnacle, being held down by Sonya Deville, possibly giving her the Royal Rumble win and then giving her the title at WrestleMania. I just gave you 3 golden ideas that they could have used. But no, they went with Nikki Ash. They went with Nikki Trash. They went with a woman who is the second biggest joke in the women's division, right behind Alexa Bliss. They went with the second worst option, minus Alexa Bliss. And for everyone that's trying to say, oh, Nikki Cross picked this character, yeah, she'd pitch this character, but again, why? Because this was the only way that she was going to get on TV. And now in hindsight, she may look like a fucking genius at the end of the day because she got the favorite green light of Nick Khan and Vince McMahon, but that doesn't mean what we're seeing is good. I was a huge advocate for Nikki Cross. I was. I loved Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross and the sanity character that she had, when she had that, I was the only individual in the entire community. I didn't see one individual pitching this idea. I was the only individual in the community that told everyone that Nikki Cross, when she was playing that sanity character, that psychotic sanity character, I told everyone that she should have been the one to face Asuka at WrestleMania 35 when Asuka was the SmackDown Live Women's Champion, but instead they gave it to fucking Charlotte, of course they did, to take it into WrestleMania only to lose it to Becky. I advocated for Nikki Cross to face Asuka at WrestleMania 35 for the SmackDown Live Women's title because of how good that match with Asuka and Nikki Cross was all the way back in the middle of 2017 on NXT for the NXT Women's Championship in the last woman standing match. I advocated for her, and I wanted to see her succeed. But then what happened? They took away this psychotic character, they paired her with Alexa Bliss, somehow she was normal, and then they took her off of television because Alexa Bliss went on to do whatever the fuck she was doing with Bray Wyatt and the Fiend gimmick. Nikki Cross was on television for all but 3 or 4 times between then and the time this character came about. I don't give a shit if this was Nikki Cross's idea or not. I don't give a shit if Nikki Cross is succeeding or not. Just because she's succeeding doesn't mean this shit is good. It's terrible. She's walking around like a discount Mighty Molly. Anyone that says that she's going to get this over is absolutely fucking retarded if I've ever seen one. Nikki Cross got 0 reaction after she won, and she was celebrating. The crowd was dead silent, sitting on their hands, and she got 0 reaction when she came out. This was terrible. Absolutely the worst women's Money in the Bank ladder match since its inception, the worst Money in the Bank ladder match I've ever seen, period, and the worst possible outcome besides Alexa Bliss. The only reason why Nikki Cross even entertained the idea of this character was because if she didn't, she was going to spend the rest of her contract in catering before she inevitably got released. Just like Mickie James, just like Deonna Purrazzo, just like Sarah Logan, just like Chelsea Green, and all the other women that was released before her. This is nothing more than a desperate fucking attempt to get on television, and apparently it's worked. But that don't mean it's good. That don't mean it's good. And if people find enjoyment in this, you are just as dumb as I say you are. I hope to God that Nikki Cross gets booed at every single arena that she goes to from here on out. Hope to God she gets booed out of the fucking building. Moving on from there, that's my little rant for the show. It's probably the biggest rant that I'll do for the show. We had the Viking Raiders versus AJ Styles and Omos. This was for the Raw Tag Team Championships, and I would not be doing my job if I was not truthful. I am one of the very few people in the community that speaks the facts, and I am one of the very few people in this community that tells you the truth. This had all the makings to be the worst match of the night. This match turned out to be better than the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And better than the WWE Championship match. I don't even know how that's possible. I honest to God don't even know how that's possible. And that goes to show you how good Styles is and how good the Viking Raiders are. The Viking Raiders are a tag team that is so underutilized, so undervalued. They don't know what they have. They were able to bring a very good match for the 10 minutes that it was out of AJ and Omos. Styles I expected, but Omos is terrible. He's been terrible. He is the black version of the Great Khali, and he should not be in a ring whatsoever. He should not be on television. He should still be in the Performance Center training. If you want him to be a wrestler, put him in the Performance Center and train him until he's absolutely ready for that spotlight. He's not ready. He's not ready for that spotlight. And to be quite honest, I don't know if he'll ever be ready. I can see he's trying to fit into this role, and he's trying to get better at his craft. He's trying to get the gimmick that he's portraying, but that doesn't mean that what he's doing right now is good. It's trash. Not as trash as Nikki Trash, but it's still trash. Still hooked on her. AJ should be nowhere near Omos. This tag team should not even be a thing. But I will say that this match was actually very good for what it was. I did not expect this to be as good as it was. I don't think anyone expected it to be as good as it was. This match had no right to be as good as it was. This match had no right to be as good as it was, and it ended up turning out to be a very good tag team match. Not as good as the Mysterios and the Usos, but still very good. And Styles and the Viking Raiders really took nothing, and they made it a fairly decent match. A match that the crowd was actually invested in. So, Styles and Omos were in control early before the Viking Raiders took over control on Styles. Omos then tagged in, and he actually did this spot with Styles that looked fucking beautiful. He launched Styles over the top rope, and Styles in midair, after he was launched by Omos, he caught Eric in a beautiful Hurricane Rana on the floor. Fucking amazing. That was excellent. So Eric, he was isolated before he finally made the tag to Ivar. Ivar with a crossbody on Styles and a big lariat for a 2. Omos came in and he body slammed Ivar. He wore him down before Styles came in, as did Eric. We had some stiff strikes being traded back and forth and a big knee. Nice fall-away slam. And they worked together to take out Styles. Big double-team offense, a springboard, clothesline German suplex combination before Styles kicked out. Styles then with a Pele kick to Ivar while Ivar was on the top. Eric was taken out and Omos tagged in. Omos then did a military press to Ivar, which was actually very, very impressive. He put one foot over him, but Ivar got the shoulder up just barely. The Viking Raiders then both worked together to take out Omos. They sent him flying out of the ring. Eric with a suicide dive, taking out Omos. Styles and Ivar were in the ring. Then Styles was on the receiving end of a Viking experience out of nowhere. Omos was on the ring apron and he pushed Eric into Ivar, breaking up the pin. I actually thought the Viking Raiders won the titles right then and there. Omos then pushed Eric. He pushed Eric out of the ring. And Omos came in and he hit a double choke bomb on Eric, I believe it was. Ivar was out of the ring, and Styles and Omos retain the tag team championships in a very good match for what it was. A match that had no right to be as good as it was, and they actually did a very good job with what they're given. And I gotta give a lot of credit to Styles and the Viking Raiders for actually making do with nothing and turning it into something decent. Not something that you're gonna go back and rewatch, but something that was worth it for the time that you watched it. It was a one-and-done thing that was enjoyable for what it was, and that was pretty much it. Now, I still would have given the titles to the Viking Raiders because that would have been the better match for SummerSlam with RK Bro, but based on what happened, they will be going forth with AJ and Omos versus Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. But very good match for what it was. I didn't expect it to be that good. A lot of people didn't expect it to be that good. I am not really going to complain. I'm not really going to complain about it. It was a very good match for what it was. Better than the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, surprisingly. And that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. Styles and Omos retain. Hopefully we get those titles on RK Bro, and we get Styles away from Black Great Khali. Next was the WWE Championship match between Kofi Kingston and Bobby Lashley. And this was exactly how it should have been. This was exactly how it should have been. This was perfectly booked. It got the point across. Bobby Lashley looked like a beast. Kofi Kingston sold the shit out of everything that Bobby Lashley did. So fast-paced action right out of the gate before Lashley flipped Kofi on his back immediately. Lashley then just dissected Kofi. He hit a pop-up spine buster, sending him into the post on the outside, flinging him around as if he's a fucking rag doll. Ground and pound. He hit 3 Dominators. He hit the Hurt Lock, and Kofi Kingston, he just passed out. Kofi just passed out. Kofi did not have anything in him. Lashley just absolutely fucking destroyed Kofi Kingston, and Bobby Lashley looks like an absolute monster. I wish that it didn't have to come to Lashley losing on Monday Night Raw multiple times, once to Kofi and then once to Woods, because after that, I was actually trying to figure out where the fuck this was even coming from and where they going with Lashley, but they tore him down and then rebuilt him back up again. Got to keep him looking strong for that Goldberg match. Of course, I expect to see Goldberg on television in mere hours. Mere hours. I expect Goldberg to be the first thing that we see on Monday Night Raw because that's how WWE operates. But this was perfectly booked. It's exactly how it should be booked. And hopefully we do see Big E in a scenario where he cashes in the Money in the Bank contract on Bobby Lashley, and we do see Big E take that title off of Mr. Bobby Lashley. I think that this is going to be a very good story between Big E and Bobby Lashley. And Kofi Kingston, goodbye Kofi Kingston. We do not need you in the WWE Championship title picture anymore. And you can see your ass back to the tag team division with Xavier Woods, because Lord knows that this company needs tag teams. From there we went into Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Which, by the way, I'm not sure if you guys realize this, but I'm telling you, I actually didn't say it until it was too late, until Charlotte Flair was actually off of television. But regardless of that, we are going to get it right this time, because I don't want to waste any time. I don't want to waste any time here, because everybody knows that we live by a code here on the channel. There's a specific code that we live by here, and I want to make sure everyone gets this down to a T. The code, people, the code is, of course, Fuck Charlotte Flair. Fuck Charlotte Flair. And all of her supporters. All of her supporters are low-life scumbags, low-life rodents, and trash bags. Fuck Charlotte Flair. And all of her supporters. I was expecting this match to completely bomb, but I will give credit where credit's due. Both women worked hard, and this match actually turned out better than it was. This match actually turned out better than it was, and this match was actually a good match for what it was, but similar to the SmackDown Tag Team title match, the wrong outcome took place. So, Rhea Ripley, she missed the cannonball off the apron, and Charlotte took over. Charlotte actually got pissed off because the crowd was chanting, "We want Becky," rightfully so, by the way. She actually flipped off the crowd, and I absolutely love to see when Charlotte Flair gets fucking angry. I love it. I love to see Charlotte Flair get everything shoved right back in her face, because we know that Charlotte Flair is an entitled cunt that this company constantly caters to. I love seeing Charlotte Flair all mad because people are chanting for someone that they'd rather see over her, because everyone knows that she's overpushed. Everyone knows that she don't deserve 14 fucking title reigns. Everyone knows. Everybody knows. So, Charlotte got angry, which I loved. I love it when people shove it right back in that cunt's face. I love it. So, she dissected Rhea before Rhea mounted a comeback with a Northern Lights suplex for a 2 and a German suplex. She missed a missile dropkick. Charlotte Flair then locked in a Boston Crab. Rhea fought out of it. Charlotte went for the figure 4, which was countered. Charlotte then with a big boot for a 2. Ripley, this was actually impressive right here. Ripley with an underhook, cross-armed Styles Clash position. She looked like she was going for a cross-armed Styles Clash or a Ricola Bomb. She reversed it, pulled Charlotte Flair up. Charlotte Flair went inside out. Ripley then kept Charlotte from touching the floor. Ripley then muscled her up in a vertical suplex. That was actually, I will admit, that was very impressive. That was actually very impressive. So, Charlotte then had her feet on the ropes when she went for a leverage pin before the official caught her. Ripley then with a roundhouse kick. Ripley attempted a superplex, but Charlotte reversed it, and she hit an avalanche natural selection. Ripley just barely kicked out. I actually thought that was it. Charlotte was shocked. Ripley then she got slammed headfirst into the post. Charlotte then put Rhea Ripley's leg in between the post and the steps and kicked the steps multiple times. So, let me get this straight. So, Rhea Ripley gets disqualified for flipping a table lid into Charlotte Flair's face, but Charlotte Flair can use the steel steps in a manner in which she kicks the steel steps into Rhea Ripley's leg, and she doesn't get disqualified. I think that one went over Bruce Pritchard's fat-ass head. Too many White Castle sliders, man. Too many White Castle sliders, Mr. Bruce Pritchard. The gut's growing every week. The keg gut is growing every week. Bruce Pritchard's going to be carrying around a humpback whale on his gut. That's how fat his gut is. Anyway. So, that went over Creative's head for sure. Charlotte then locked in the figure 8, and guess what happened? I'll give you one guess as to what happened. Rhea Ripley tapped out. Rhea tapped out, and just further proves how shitty the division really is. Oh, by the way, there was actually a Peacock glitch after this match. Peacock fucking sucks. They need to get their shit together. The fact that they have been on WWE, they've been partnered with WWE for, 5 months now almost, and we're still having fucking problems? They need to get their shit together, and fast. But Charlotte Flair is the new Raw Women's Champion. Can't say that I'm surprised. Although, here's what was going through my head. Now, this didn't cross my mind after the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but this did cross my mind midway through this match. I'm not sure if you guys were thinking this, but midway through this match, I was thinking, you know, I would not put it past WWE to actually have Nikki Cross cash in the contract, making it a triple threat match, just like Rollins did with Lesnar and Roman at WrestleMania 31, and then Rhea Ripley would pin Nikki Cross, retaining the title, and then we would get Charlotte and Rhea again at SummerSlam. For some reason, I don't know. I would not have put it past them. I'm actually shocked that that didn't happen. Now what are you going to do at SummerSlam? I don't know. I do not know what they're going to do at SummerSlam. I'm guessing that Becky Lynch is probably going to come back in some way, shape, or form. Something's going to go down with Becky. What happens with Rhea? I don't know, and quite frankly, I don't care, because just like WrestleMania 36, Rhea Ripley has been buried yet again. Not like she was booked all that good on the main roster to begin with. She was booked like a weak shell of her former self. She has never seen the light of day ever since that match with Charlotte at WrestleMania 36, 15 months prior to this match. And now what happens? Charlotte Flair taps out Rhea Ripley. Goodbye, Rhea Ripley. You are never going to see that title again. I'm surprised she lasted this long as the Raw Women's Champion, if I'm going to be quite honest. Now what? Now what? Now you think that Nikki Trash is going to beat Charlotte? You think that we're going to see Nikki Trash successfully cash in? No. Charlotte Flair, whenever Nikki Trash cashes in, Charlotte Flair is going to be right there to defeat her within minutes. It's not going to happen. Not gonna. If they end up giving the title to Nikki Cross at the hands of Charlotte, I'd be dead shocked. I'd be dead shocked. And even then, I still expect Charlotte to win the title back. Charlotte Flair absolutely sucks. And her supporters are no better. Her supporters are absolutely stupid. Just as stupid as the Alexa Bliss fans. And Charlotte Flair and the way that they have portrayed Charlotte Flair, it is absolutely fucking ridiculous. It is nauseating. And quite frankly, I don't understand how anyone can support this. I really don't. Match was good. Match wasn't bad. I'm not saying that the match was terrible. This was probably better than their WrestleMania 36 match. This was probably their best match together. But that doesn't mean that what happened needed to happen. Rhea Ripley should have been booked exactly how she was in NXT. Rhea Ripley should have been booked exactly how she was booked against Shayna Baszler in that program. That never happened. What happens to Rhea Ripley now? She's never going to see that title again. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get Charlotte and Rhea Ripley again. There's literally no one else to face Charlotte outside of Asuka and Rhea Ripley. Unless they do Alexa Bliss, which I don't expect them to do Alexa Bliss. I'm expecting Bray Wyatt to come back any day now and remove the evil from Alexa Bliss. I don't know what's going to happen, and quite frankly, I don't care, because the women's division is a fucking joke. Charlotte Flair has 14 undeserved championship title reigns. Nikki Trash, the superhero, is walking around as the women's Money in the Bank contract holder. Alexa Bliss is doing voodoo and magic to win matches. Asuka's looking like an idiot. Tamina's on television as a champion. The women's division sucks. The women's division sucks, and I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if the ratings dip back to, what, 1.6? 1.7 at best. I wouldn't be surprised if they dip right back to a 1.6, 1.7 within the next 3 weeks. Both for Raw and for SmackDown. Because SmackDown ain't fucking lasting over 2 million. They ain't fucking lasting over 2 million. And Raw, forget about it. With Monday Night Raw seeing the Days of the Queen again, people are going to switch the channel quicker than when they see a gory scene in a horror movie. And people are squeamish after they just finished their nice spaghetti and meatballs dinner. Charlotte Flair is the new Raw Women's Champion. Rhea Ripley is buried once again. If you don't understand why, again, you may be as retarded as I say you are. And that was pretty much that. Next, we had Kevin Owens versus Matt Riddle versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ricochet versus John Morrison versus Big E versus Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. This was the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Drew, by the way, Drew was clearly getting booed. And you could hear it. You could hear it. He did not win Money in the Bank, so hopefully that'll help his case. But with a feud with Jinder already in progress, he is absolutely going to suffer. And WWE is no one to blame but themselves. So, Big E, with a spear, the apron spear that he does right to Drew McIntyre, looked brutal. Morrison then with a corkscrew plancha off the ladder onto Nakamura. Morrison and Rollins actually worked together. They were actually chanting for Johnny Drip Drip. They were chanting Johnny Drip Drip. To be quite honest with you, that doesn't surprise me. Like I said, it's been a long time since we had wrestling fans in attendance, and we all forgot how incredibly dumb they really are. Wrestling fans have the mentality of autistic 5-year-olds. So they were chanting for Johnny Drip Drip. Of course they were. Everyone in the wrestling community, besides me, of course, is an idiot. And the people that watch me. Riddle, he was dropped on the ladder by Morrison. Ricochet was then dropped on a ladder. And the ladder was placed in between the table, the announce table that is, and the ring. So Owens came in with a moonsault onto the ladder, pinning Morrison and Rollins under the ladder. Owens then paid as he got suplexed onto an open ladder on its side. So Owens' fucking spine is destroyed. Drew, he then got placed on the ladder. Morrison with a 450 elbow drop to Drew McIntyre. Didn't look like he got all of it, but he got just enough. Riddle came in with an RKO to Rollins. I'm surprised that Riddle and Rollins actually had a little back and forth in this, considering the history. Nakamura and Riddle actually had a great back and forth. Nakamura and Riddle actually had a phenomenal fucking back and forth. I could have watched those guys go for another 10 more minutes. So Drew McIntyre came in out of nowhere with a double Claymore, looked great. He hit a Future Shock DDT to Mr. E, Big E. He took Ricochet and he hit a reverse Alabama slam to Ricochet onto the ladder that was pinned up in the corner. Drew then with a Tope Con Hero onto the field on the outside. Rollins was left in the ring. He did the Claymore countdown. Crowd was chanting along with them. And he nailed Rollins right in the face with the Claymore. Drew then went for the briefcase. All of a sudden, Veer and Shanky attacked Drew McIntyre. They led Drew to the outside, in which Mahal was waiting with a chair. And he beat down Drew with the chair. He hit Drew with the chair a few times. Then he said, "Come on, let's go." And Veer and Shanky dragged Drew McIntyre away from the match. It's going to be a long fucking summer. I'm telling you, it's going to be a long rest of the summer. It is going to be a long SummerSlam build, and I'm telling you, we are going to bear witness to a match that is just as bad, if not worse, than the Mahal Reigns match at Money in the Bank of 2018. Just you wait. Vegas is going to fucking rip this match and this feud to shreds. So Drew was taken out of the match by Mahal, Veer, and Shanky. Ricochet, then, he walked the tightrope as if he was a fucking circus act. Walked the fucking tightrope, springboarded onto the ladder with Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle then tipped over the ladder, and this was fucking insane. I don't know how Ricochet is still alive. I'm not sure how he pulled that off so well, but my God, my heart dropped. My heart fucking dropped into my stomach when I saw this. Matt Riddle, he flipped over the ladder. Ricochet did a springboard, and he got fucking air. He got some fucking air in which he springboarded into a Tope Con Hero onto the pile. It was absolutely insane. Crowd was going nuts. Rollins then set up another ladder. Big E stopped Rollins. Riddle hit an RKO to Big E. He hit an RKO to Ricochet. Rollins then out of nowhere hit a stomp on Riddle. Nakamura with a go to sleep. Nakamura then went for the briefcase before John Morrison. He sprayed Nakamura in the face with the dripstick. Absolutely cringe. Nakamura, he went down. He was taken out. Owens then came in with a stunner to Morrison, a stunner to Nakamura. Ricochet caught a pop-up powerbomb. Rollins then stopped Owens, and he powerbombed Owens over the top rope, through a ladder, and Owens got folded up on his neck. I would be shocked if Kevin Owens does not have a legitimate neck injury. It looked rough, and I mean rough. Rollins went for the briefcase, but Big E denied it. Big E then delivered a big ending off of the ladder, a la the spot that he did with FTR, all the way back at TLC of 2019 in that ladder match. Big E climbed up the ladder, and he unhooked the briefcase. And Big E is your new Mr. Money in the Bank. This was absolutely the best overall Money in the Bank ladder match that we have seen in years. Probably since Moxley won the briefcase. It's almost like ever since Moxley won the briefcase, the match has been cursed. We haven't had a good winner since then. But now, we can finally be happy. We finally got a great overall Money in the Bank ladder match, some excellent wrestling, some excellent spots, excellent storytelling, and a very good winner. Predictable, insanely predictable. I mean, Stevie Wonder could have seen this coming, but it was still a good winner. Now, I still would have gone with Nakamura and told the story of Nakamura being beaten down by Roman, only to return and cash in on Roman at WrestleMania 38. That would have been the better story than Big E. The Big E story is all too predictable, but I will say this. We rag on WWE a lot, everyone like me, everyone who's as intelligent as I am, which is very few people. Everyone who's as intelligent as I am rags on WWE for not making sense. We rag on WWE for not making sense and going with an absolute illogical fucking decision. They actually made sense here. The winner of this match made sense. Insanely predictable, but it made sense. So you know what? I'm not going to complain because for once in a blue moon, WWE actually made a decision that made sense. And I expect Big E to go straight to the Monday Night Raw brand, and he's going to cash in on Lashley. When? I don't know. I actually just got a notification right now. Apparently, Cena is going to be live on Raw tomorrow. Cena's going to be live on Raw tomorrow. So, he's feuding with Roman Reigns, but he's going to be on Raw. Gotta drive up those ratings somehow, right? Gotta drive up those ratings somehow. Speaking of John Cena, we're going to talk about him in a little bit. But he came in the end after what was a fantastic match between Roman Reigns and Edge for the Universal Heavyweight Championship of the world. So Roman Reigns and Edge for the Universal title. This was the main event, and this was fantastic. Like I said, wrestling fans are stupid. Wrestling fans have no brains. People were chanting, Roman can't wrestle during this match. I mean, I knew wrestling fans were dumb, but I mean, come on, people. So, Roman Reigns hit a drive-by for a 2. Edge and Roman then both booted each other in the face before Edge came back with an Edge-O-Matic. Edge-O-Matic for a 2 count. We then had Edge hit a flapjack and the Edgecution. That got a 2 count as well. Edge then sent Roman headfirst off the post, and he was hung up in the Tree of Woe, was Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was hung up in the Tree of Woe. Edge, like a shark smelling blood in the water, he was kicking Roman and kicking Roman and kicking Roman while he was stuck in the Tree of Woe. Edge then stomped away, and he locked in an STF on Roman Reigns. Then he transitioned into a crossface. Reigns was able to get to the ropes. Edge went for the spear. Reigns caught him into a guillotine. Edge fought out of it, sending himself and Roman Reigns straight to the floor. Roman Reigns then missed the spear, and he sent himself right through the barricade. Edge then went to the outside, and he ran and he speared Roman Reigns through another barricade, and they spilled into the crowd. Edge then lifted Roman Reigns on his back, because he knew he couldn't win the title via countout, lifted Roman on his back, and Roman Reigns was put in the ring. Roman just barely kicked out. We had a Superman punch. Edge fell into the ref, and it looked like Charles Robinson legitimately hurt his knee. So much so that there were officials actually coming out. I don't know if this was supposed to happen, but this spot was a clear fuck up. The ref was supposed to go down, but he wasn't supposed to go down like that. Charles Robinson might have torn his knee, and there were officials, Pat Buck and Jamie Noble, actually carrying Charles Robinson back to Gorilla to check on his injured knee. So the ref was taken out. Roman then broke a chair piece off, a la what happened at WrestleMania 37. He was taunting Edge. Edge then fought back. He hit headbutt after headbutt after headbutt after headbutt to Roman. We then had WWE officials obviously taking Charles Robinson out. He was brought to the back. Edge then locked in the crossface with the chair piece on Mr. Roman Reigns before the Usos came out to try and even the odds and get the advantage back on the side of their tribal chief. The Mysterios came out. They took out the Usos with some sentons and some Hurricane Ranas, and they sent the Usos packing right to the back. All of a sudden, after the Mysterios took out the Usos, Seth Rollins came out of nowhere, super kicked Edge right in the back of the neck, and then he just left. Reigns then measured Edge. He went for the spear. Edge then countered Roman's attempt of the spear with a spear of his own. Edge hit the spear. There was no ref. A new ref finally came down. 1, 2. Roman Reigns just barely got the shoulder up. Roman Reigns just barely kicked out. Edge then measured Roman Reigns for another spear. All of a sudden, Seth Rollins came out to distract Edge yet again. And Roman Reigns hit the spear to retain the Universal Championship. This match was fantastic. Excellent story being told. But that's been the norm that we've been accustomed to with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is doing God's work right now. He is doing God's work. Roman Reigns should not be losing that title until WrestleMania or SummerSlam next year, depending on who they build up. You got an option in Finn Balor. You got an option in Nakamura. There's always Keith Lee. Keith Lee's always an option if he decides to resurface, if they allow him to fucking resurface. But you got a few options that you can build up. But you got to start now. Whoever's going to take that title off of Roman, you need to start now. You need to start now. But this match was fantastic. Roman Reigns is absolutely untouchable. There's absolutely nobody on his level. Roman Reigns is doing fantastic work. He gets it. He absolutely gets it. He's going to get massive heel heat throughout the rest of this title run. He knows how to work the crowd. He's playing up to this tribal chief character. He has just grown into this character and taken to it like a fish to water. And it's great to see. This is how Roman Reigns should have been coming out of WrestleMania 32 after he beat Triple H. After that match, there was no way Roman Reigns was going to be over as a babyface. Roman Reigns should never be babyface again. Roman Reigns should never, ever be a babyface again. I don't care what anyone says. If Roman Reigns is a babyface ever again, shit is completely going to go south. You do not want any more repeats of what happened with Roman throughout 2016 and 2017. Roman should never be babyface ever again. Afterwards, Rollins came in to attack Edge. Rollins then stared down Roman before Edge brawled with Rollins into the crowd out of the arena. Heyman, I knew something was going to happen here. Heyman then gave Roman a microphone, and Reigns goes, "Now the whole world can acknowledge me." All of a sudden, John Cena's music hits, and the roof fucking exploded. The roof fucking exploded. Roof fucking exploded. John Cena came out. He looks fantastic. He looks great. He looks like a refreshed man. He looks like a new man. He looks like he went into a fucking time machine. He looks in phenomenal shape. He's like a fine wine. He only gets better with age. Absolutely fantastic. The pop was out of this fucking world. It was almost like we turned back the clock to when John Cena won the Rumble in 2008, and he came out at number 30, and the crowd was going nuts. This was a mega pop if I've ever seen one. Great pop for John Cena. And he stared down Roman. He did his usual shtick. And he did the "you can't see me" right in front of Roman. And apparently he's going to be on Raw. Why? Because they need to boost those ratings somehow. People are going to be turned away when Bill Goldberg comes back, so they got to bring him back with John Cena. If John Cena's on Raw and SmackDown, then we got a problem. Consistently. He is on SmackDown, and he is going to be the opponent for Roman at SummerSlam, and I'm telling you right now, they are going to tell a beautiful story. It's going to be a very, very good match, and it's going to further enhance Roman Reigns. I'm sorry. For the people that want John Cena to get number 17, it ain't going to happen. Tribal Chief, baby. Tribal Chief is going to walk out victorious. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if USA Network complained, "Oh, well, Bill Fox is getting John Cena in the program with Roman Reigns. Why? Why don't we get John Cena?" And there you go. WWE doing it to appease the networks because that's all they know how to do. But I'm very, very happy to see John Cena back. The build is going to be fantastic. The match is going to be just as good. And Roman Reigns is going to be further enhanced as the biggest heel in the wrestling industry as we speak. Overall, it was a very good wrestling show. For the most part, every match had the right outcome, minus a match or two here or there. We got a great moment with Big E winning. Fantastic main event. And John Cena is returning, and he's coming for number 17 against Roman Reigns, in which he will ultimately fail. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. It definitely means a lot. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. I will be on the Top Rope Squishy channel for the review and results live stream of AEW Fyter Fest Night 2 this week. Of course, I got the Lightning Flash update on Saturday. Feeling good. I'm getting back to my old self again. And on top of that, if you guys don't already know, I'm going to be live in the flesh at Dynamite on September 15th in the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. So if anyone is on the East Coast and you're going to AEW Dynamite in Newark, New Jersey, please tell me. I will get wristbands. I'll be handing out free wristbands. You want to take a selfie with me, you can absolutely do that. I'm going to watch some great pro wrestling. I know that I'll be seeing a couple people like Earl Cole there. I'll be seeing Top Rope Squishy there for sure. It's going to be a good night. So if you guys are on the East Coast and you headed to Dynamite on September 15th in the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, please let me know. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to hit me up. And I will be sure to save a wristband for you. And we can chat, take some pictures, collaborate. If you got a YouTube channel, I'd love to see when we can collaborate. I'd love to see. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind. Overall, very good show. Overall, very good wrestling show. But it did its job for the most part. And I will be tweeting live for Monday Night Raw tonight. NXT, Dynamite, NXT UK, SmackDown. You already know the drill. Lightning Flash update on Saturday. And I will be discussing all things wrestling throughout the week. I am DJ Storms. This has been The Rewind, and I will catch you guys later tonight for Raw.